At the special time of 8:30 tonight on 10, it's footy's biggest party.
The Before the Game Grand Final Extravaganza.
Featuring a galaxy of AFL stars.
The legendary Strawny live in the studio.
And Hughesy goes one-on-one with Rebecca Twigley.
Plus Tool of the Year and Aussie Rockers UMI.
Spend Friday night with footy's funniest team.
Ben Cousins, one day you'll look like this too, all right?
Before the Game, 8:30 tonight on 10.
Well, now it's back to Mike, who's found a friend at the G.
Yeah, thanks again. Good evening. I popped outside the G to give a cat, or at least a dog, a home. This is Marley, a 5-year-old Shih Tzu, wants to go to your place. All the details, of course, on the webpage, www.giveitdogahome.com.au. What a glorious day it has been today. A lot of happy campers there behind me. In fact, it got to 28 degrees in Melbourne. It hasn't been this warm in the city since late March, and remaining fine and mild tonight. And the forecast for tomorrow, well, we've spoken about it already, the mid-20s, and it will be fine for the most part. More weather back inside the G in half an hour. I'll see you then.
Good evening, everyone. Geelong's unlucky cat, David Wojcinski, has accepted his axing from the grand final team, saying he's not bitter. But the decision to drop him has cast a shadow over the Premiers on the eve of the MCG clash.
Maybe it's his experience, maybe it's because he's already won a premiership. But David Wojcinski has taken his demotion very well.
Oh, it was difficult, yeah, no doubt about it. But yeah, footy's a tough industry, mate, and you just got to roll with the punches, and that's it. So this is just another one.
There remains the suspicion he could come into the side if Travis Varco's ankle doesn't come up. Thompson has left the door slightly ajar.
We're probably 90% sure that that'll be the team. You leave the 10% because you've got to leave some percentage, and people can get sick overnight or tight back. So, but as far as all the boys coming up from last week's game, we're fine.
Honestly, I don't know. It could be, I don't know.
Even though they've been there and done that, the Cats had one final look at the MCG. The parade brought the teams together. The coaches and captains were first to arrive.
We can get this done.
Thompson fired the one and only psychological shot.
A lot of people say go out and enjoy it. Well, I haven't enjoyed it. To be honest, it's been a really hard, long week, and you can't hide from that fact that there's a game before the game.
While noting his team had no grand final experience last year, he still believes it's the ace in the pack.
Having done it last year, it certainly, you sort of know what you're in for and know how to plan pretty well. Try and give the boys the best possible chance to turn up in a good frame of mind tomorrow.
Like the boxer ahead of a big title bout, the Hawks have promised a good, clean fight. The Cats aren't so sure.
We don't know what to expect, and you never do, but just from going what Alistair said, there will be a nice, very clean game of football.
Rob Waters, 10 News.
Alistair Clarkson has boldly declared his Hawks couldn't be better prepared to win tomorrow's premiership. After soaking up grand final week, the Hawthorn coach says his team has no excuses.
Meticulous in its planning, these Hawks have constructed a team ready to win a flag. For some, the wait has been close to a lifetime.
I'm playing in a grand final. Didn't expect it a few years ago. Yeah. I don't know how much longer I'm going to play for, and I didn't know then as well. So, this is as good as it gets.
For others, like Stephen Gillam, a premiership tomorrow will ruin relations with his entire family. They all go for the Cats.
Grandfather, dad and brother are all Geelong members still. Mum's come across to Hawthorn, but yeah, they're all Geelong supporters.
As they did in today's parade, the Hawks have savoured the moment all week long. Even those without a game in the brown and gold aren't too down in the dumps.
I pretty much found out yesterday afternoon and, disappointed. But, it's only going to make me stronger, and I'll come back with a bit of fire in the belly for pre-season.
There remains an outside chance Simon Taylor could win a reprieve and replace Brent Renouf in the 22. Either way, the coach is bristling. He says his Hawks are cherry ripe for their shot at greatness.
We couldn't be better prepared. We'll have no excuses. The best team will win tomorrow. It won't be based on any excuses that if we could have done this or if we could have done that. We go in really pleased with our preparation.
Rather than head to the MCG, the Hawks this afternoon had the lightest stroll at home. They'll go in underdog tomorrow, but they fancy their chances.
We've given ourselves every opportunity with our preparation, the way we've gone about the year, finishing in the top 4, having a win, having a week off, having a good win last week, to give ourselves every chance. We'll have no excuses if we're not good enough tomorrow.
Tim Hodges, 10 News.
Well, the track is going to be hard and fast for tomorrow. 26 degrees is forecast for the big game. Rob Waters is at the MCG. And Rob, shades of 1987 for the Hawks, and Michael Tuck even wore a sleeveless jumper.
Well, that tells you it was pretty hot that day, Quarters. Yes, the forecast top is for 26 tomorrow. Now, if it gets much higher than that, it will be the hottest day since '87 when the Hawks got rolled by Carlton in that game where Tucky got into the sleeveless jumper. The previous hottest day before that, in fact the hottest on record, was back in 1961 when the temperature topped 31 degrees. The Hawks did better that day and they broke through for their first ever flag way back in 1961. Whatever the temperature is, it will be tough for the players. It will take its toll and it may have an impact on the game late in the piece. So the clubs, no doubt, will be preparing themselves for every eventuality weather-wise. Well, the Cats, they have a great opportunity to go back-to-back. It's very exciting for this football club that's become such a dominant force, and today they had one final look at the MCG. Just an acclimatisation session, really, just a little light run around, a bit of a kick and a bit of an extra familiarisation session there for the Cats, who've had such a great year, hoping to cap it off with a premiership tomorrow. After the grand final parade, the Hawks went out to Waverley. They had a team meeting, and then it was an optional session for their players as to whether they had a training run. Some did, just a final kick around to try and get rid of some of those grand final eve nerves. Could be a great crowd tomorrow. The last time we got to 100,000 was way back in 1986 during another Hawthorn premiership of that great era. It got to 101,861 that day. 99,000 in the Adelaide St Kilda grand final in 1997 was the previous biggest after that. The standing room tickets are sold tomorrow, so it could be a bumper crowd. They could get near 100,000, you doubt it, but if they're ever going to do it, tomorrow is the day. Quarters, I know you've declared Hawthorn living certainties. The premiership is virtually heading out to Waverley. Good luck with that. Should be a great game, the Hawks and the Cats.
You're a silly man, Rob Waters. A win for Geelong tomorrow will cap a fairy tale comeback for Tom Lonergan, 2 years after losing a kidney. The 24-year-old is one of 4 Cats who haven't played in a grand final.
It's the moment he thought had passed him by. Just walking out to be part of a grand final parade seemed impossible for Tom Lonergan.
If you had told me 2 years ago where I'd be now, I'd probably laugh at you. But yeah, it's been great and it's really great to be here and soak in the atmosphere.
He's battled with Tom Hawkins for the second key forward spot, but since making his return to football after losing a kidney and nearly his life late in 2006, the 24-year-old has tried not to reflect too often on that moment.
Body's great, really, it's fine. Good after the 8-day recovery and ready to go.
After missing out on last year's premiership, big man Mark Blake gets his chance for a medal, and that was his only focus, tight-lipped in the festivities. Also so close yet so far in 2007, forward Travis Varco has got his shot to go one better this year.
I was lucky enough to be in it last year, and obviously I was emergency, but all the boys that played last year have got around us the first timers this year, and just sort of give us a bit of advice and help us through it. So yeah, they've all been good, the whole team.
Mature age recruit Harry Taylor, the 4th member of the new breed of Cats, but he might be getting 24 hours ahead of himself.
I couldn't have asked for a better first year. To be playing in a premiership, have the opportunity to play in a premiership with a great side is something you only dream about.
With the exception of Stuart Dew, who won a flag with Port Adelaide, all Hawks are grand final rookies. Ian Cohen, 10 News.
Melbourne has been hit by a new type of grand final fever. Call it Buddy Mania. Lance Franklin, accompanied by 4 security guards, thrilled the fans and excited the kids. But even the normally super smooth star is feeling the heat.
He says he never gets nervous and always looks like a man in control. But today, beneath the shades and cool exterior, Buddy Franklin admitted to a bad case of butterflies.
I'm probably told a little bit of a fib. I'm a little bit nervous. I've been nervous all week, and as I said before, can't wait to get out there.
Forget AFL superstar, this man received a rock star reception. Squealing girls and thunderous applause, clearly overwhelming the Coleman medalist. And while no other player was assigned a security guard, Buddy had 4.
Tomorrow, the eyes of the sporting world will turn to this man, and exactly how he responds may well determine whether the Hawks win their 10th flag.
But in all his 21 years, the boy from country Western Australia is yet to experience a season decider.
No, first grand final ever, so just looking forward to it.
Waiting for him at 2:30 tomorrow, arguably one of the best fullbacks of the modern era.
It's one of the biggest jobs in football, but I'll be relying on my teammates to help me out and also the midfield to put a lot of pressure on as well.
Late today, he rounded off his preparation, declaring himself over a thumb injury. He's also finalised all ticket requests.
Yeah, the whole family's over, the sisters and all my mates are over for the games.
Now there's just one more thing to tick off, and that's a big sleep.
I'll hopefully be in bed before 9 o'clock and sleep till about 9, so we'll just have to wait and see what happens.
Kelly Underwood, 10 News.
There has been a big plunge on Geelong, with punters hoping the Cats will make it back-to-back flags. With all the odds, here's TAB Sportsbet's Gary Davies.
Yes, thanks very much, Quarters. Well, you're right there. The money is all for the Cats. They've deserted your Hawks for the grand final, and Geelong are $1.45 favourites, $20,000 at $1.45. A good bet on the Cats there. Margin betting $2.30 under 39.5 Geelong. If you think they'll pump the Hawks, $3.40 to win over that margin of 39.5. Hawthorn $2.65, easy in the market, out to $2.75. With the under 39.5 at $3.30, and a big win to the Hawks unlikely, $11 for over 39.5. The draw though, money for it, 51 into 41, and the money is still coming, so it could shorten up even further. Norm Smith medal, G. Ablett favourite. He's been $8 into $7. Very solid, the Cat champ there. Jimmy Bartell at $9. Lance Franklin, he opened at $10. A bet of $20,000 at $10 sees him into 9. That's to win $200,000. Sammy Mitchell at $10, $12 for Luke Hodge and Joel Corey, and as you can see, midfielders all the way down the bottom there to $15 for Chance Bateman. But really the story of the game is that they want to be on the Cats, and the Cats, and the Cats.
Thanks, Gary. From the odds to the so-called experts, we asked some of the players who'll be watching on tomorrow who they think will win the big one.
I think the Cats will be too good. I think they've been by far the best side all year, and they should continue on.
I think Geelong will win, but Hawthorn are probably going to be the only side to challenge them in the remaining teams in the prelims, so I think Geelong will win.
Hopefully it's a close game, hopefully Hawthorn get up to.
I think it's going to be within sort of 2 or 3 goals, hopefully. I think Cats only just, they've been the best side all year. It's going to come down the wire, I think, but I think they'll just have a little bit too much for them.
Obviously Geelong, I think they'll be too good come Saturday.
I'd love to see the Hawks win, especially with Shane Crawford. I'd love to see him win a Premier. After 17 years, it'd be great to see him get up and have a win.
Well, now's not the time to get it wrong. I'm hoping to keep my clean sheet in the finals, 8 from 8. Hawthorn, no surprise to most, will win tomorrow against Geelong thanks to its firepower up forward. The Hawks by 20 points. Jared Roughead will not only kick the first goal of the match, he will also take home the Norm Smith medal. The opening grand final of the weekend is nearing its completion at the Telstra Dome. The Murray Bushrangers are looking the winners in the TAC Under-18 competition. Approaching three-quarter time, they lead the Dandenong Stingrays by 56 points. A Dale Thomas lookalike, Sam Wright, had the Bushrangers off to a perfect start. Murray were the hot favourites and have 9 players at next week's draft camp in Canberra. One of those is a gun forward of the future. His name is Tom Rockcliffe. He had 4 opening half goals, including 2 gems from the boundary. Both teams entered in a fiery melee at half-time of the match. The under-18 final is followed tonight by the VFL grand final between North Ballarat and Port Melbourne.
Yes, thanks you, Helen. Good evening once again. Of course, the all-important forecast. Without any further ado, let's have a look at the forecast for tomorrow's grand final. Down to around 12 degrees, anticipating 26. The good news, it should be fine and mostly sunny in the morning. A little bit of cloud building up tomorrow afternoon. Any rain should actually fall after the game, so there certainly is some good news there. OK, the guys tomorrow down here at the MCG are fighting for what? The Premiership Cup. And here it is. It is a beauty. Weighs around 6 kilos. In fact, I'll just show it a little bit closer to you. Silver plated, 24 carats inside, and it's probably worth around $7,000 in the black market. I don't know, 10, 20,000, who knows. Okay, 15 degrees in Melbourne this morning, 28 degrees this afternoon. Hasn't been this warm in Melbourne for around 6 months. Southerly breeze blowing in the past half an hour. The temperature, grand final eve, dropping to 19 degrees in the city. The humidity around 53%, and the wind is a southerly blowing up over the bay at around 15 kilometres per hour. Around town, Geelong, after reaching 27 degrees, it is now on just 16. across our state. Have a look at some of those temperatures there. No rain overnight or today, as dry as a footy fan's throat tomorrow night, and way warmer than normal, up to 30 degrees in some places. Around the country, for the kids on holidays very quickly, why do sharks only swim in salt water? Because pepper makes them sneeze. Adelaide today scored 28 degrees, Hobart 18. They had 3 millimetres of rain. The satellite sequence, a weakening cold front will cross eastern Victoria this evening after today's high, pushing down those lovely warm northerly winds, and a more front is on the way on Sunday, and that will bring rain. And now the 24-hour rainfall chart. Around the country tomorrow, over to Perth around 20, Adelaide 30 with late showers, Hobart 15, Canberra 25, Sydney likewise, in Brisbane around 27 degrees. Across our state, there are no warnings tonight or tomorrow. Patchy light rain developing in the southwest tonight, extending across southern areas later tomorrow, remaining fine in the north, generally warm with light to moderate northerlies, and they will tend southerly in the southwest. A little closer to Melbourne, Geelong tomorrow 8 to 21 degrees, Hawthorn around 9 to 24. Another forecast for Melbourne, remaining fine tonight and fine for the most part tomorrow. As I mentioned, mostly sunny in the morning, the cloud developing after lunch tomorrow, and once the game is over and done with, it should actually, well, see a few rain clouds. 12 to 26 degrees for your Saturday. A southerly change also moving in after lunch. Out on the bays, maybe some people are doing a little bit of sailing. It will be blowy. In fact, we've got nor'westerlies, and they'll be up to around 30 knots with southerly in the afternoon. So the big day after, a few showers, 12 to 20 on Sunday, with westerly winds increasing to 30 knots. Monday showers and 17, Tuesday 21, Wednesday 24 degrees. I'll see you tomorrow night again from the MC.
Live from Melbourne, this is 7 News with Peter Mitchell.
Good evening. Melbourne was turned into a sea of blue and white and brown and gold today for a grand final parade that divided the city in two. Under sunny skies, an estimated 70,000 fans lined the streets to honour their heroes ahead of tomorrow's long-awaited showdown.
The first all-Victorian grand final in 8 years, pitting fur
Go Cannons!
against feathers.
Go Hawks!
For the Hawks, one name dominated. Who's your favourite player?
Buddy Franklin.
Why?
Because he kicks a lot of goals. Buddy Franklin.
The Coleman medalist was surrounded by tight security for most of the parade. For the Cats too, one name was on everybody's lips.
Gary Outwood. Go Gary Outwood.
Yeah, I mean, the boys are very excited about tomorrow, and we'll just enjoy today and look forward to getting into it. So
This even sweeter for Paul Chapman because he originally thought his hamstring injury might prevent him playing.
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago I thought that might not happen, but look, my last week and a half has been very positive, and I've been training very hard and getting through, and look, I'm here now and just looking forward to getting out there tomorrow.
Mark Blake was dropped for the grand final last year. Elation this year.
How special is it after what you've been through?
It's just very amazing to be playing this year, and hopefully we have a similar result last year. Just happy to hopefully be a premiership player.
The Hawks have never experienced anything like it.
it doesn't get much better than this. It's the first time for a lot of us, and it's magnificent.
It's sensational to see all the Hawk supporters, not only that, all football supporters in general out here. It's just a great feeling.
Indeed, for some fans, 17 years since the Hawks' last grand final appearance was several lifetimes.
Have you waited a long time for this?
Yep, whole life.
Just as excited, the oldest fan here, 98-year-old Hawk, Bernie Jordan.
Do you still get excited? Oh, do I? What?
Dipper wrestled his way through the last time the two sides met in a grand final in 1989. Today, a cruel prediction from the Hawk legend.
Who is going to win and by how much? Come on, don't be silly. The Hawks are going to win by 1 point.
Not according to these premiership-hardened Cats.
Why will Geelong win tomorrow?
Because they're the greatest team of all.
Lucky, why?
We're undefeatable.
For these sisters, one on either side of the fence, it's been a tough week.
Half our house at the front's covered in Geelong gear and the other half's covered in Hawthorn stuff, so we kind of divided it evenly.
Okay, one of you is going to be miserable on Sunday. Which one will it be?
All this left the emotions boiling over for tomorrow.
Why do you think the Hawks are going to win tomorrow?
Because if they don't, my mum will be grumpy for a week.
Bring it on, and like Teddy Whitten used to say, stick it up him! Stick it up him! Go Cats! Go Cats! Go boys!
Nick McCallum, 7 News.
The MCG has gone into security lockdown, but not before organisers applied the finishing touches to football's spiritual home. They're not just looking after the prized silverware, but also a staggering supply of chips, pies and beer.
The grass is cut and freshly painted, the hallowed turf looking a treat for the last Saturday in September. With as many as 100,000 fans expected to pack the MCG, organisers face a massive task.
Well, it takes a total of 1,600 staff in the hospitality team. We're spread across 25 function rooms, 5 restaurants, about 125 corporate suites.
They'll provide more than 20,000 meat pies, 25,000 buckets of chips, 40,000 soft drinks and a whopping 75,000 litres of beer. For those in the corporate boxes, the fare's a bit more fancy.
For some, the challenge may be simply getting into the ground. MCC members are already queuing up to make sure they secure the best seats in the house.
There's 10,000 seats available for MCC members on the day, and with 2 Victorian clubs battling it out, it may well be a full house.
It will definitely be a sellout with 2 Victorian sides.
For those who can't get to the game, there'll be plenty of places to watch Sevens coverage. The Arcadia Hotel in South Yarra isn't afraid to show its colours.
Well, we painted it last year and it worked for us. We won the grand final after we painted the pub, so I thought we'd give it another crack and see if it helps us this year against what I think will be tougher opposition.
There are even bigger screens going up for Hawks fans at the club's spiritual home. And for those who like a punt, the Cats remain rock-solid favourites.
Geelong $1.45 favourites, so good solid money for the Cats. If they win under 39.5 points, $2.30. If they have a big win, they're $3.40. The Hawks now, they've gone out to $2.75 today. Not a lot of confidence by the punters.
It's expected more than $50 million will be wagered on the match. Ben McNair, 7 News.
Hello again. Geelong and Hawthorn players have survived their final training sessions before tomorrow's All-Victorian decider. Both coaches are predicting the grand final will be tough but clean.
Both sides had their final training sessions this afternoon with far less fanfare than they experienced yesterday. With the preparations now all but complete, the coaches turned their attention to some psychological warfare.
If the Cats have the discipline to stick to their structures really well, then they'll salute.
We don't know what to expect, and you never do, but just from going what Alice has said, it'll be a nice, very clean game of football.
David Wojcinski was the unlucky Cat to make way for Paul Chapman, but his grand final dream hasn't been completely extinguished just yet.
We're probably 90% sure that that'll be the team. You know, you leave the 10% because you've got to leave some percentage.
You sort of got to expect something like this is going to happen at some stage in your career, and yeah, so always next year, eh? That's it, mate. Yeah.
Hawthorn had some selection heartache of its own, with Simon Taylor unable to move Brent Renoff as the club's number 2 ruckman.
The real heartbreak is probably for Joel Smith, Richie Vandenberg, Ben Dixon, guys that retired at the end of last year.
While everyone else basks in grand final fever, it seems the excitement was all too much for Mark Thompson.
This week, a lot of people say go out and enjoy it. Well, I haven't enjoyed it. To be honest, it's been a really hard, long week, and you can't hide from that fact that there's a game before the game.
But he did enjoy this.
You just walked in horse poo. Is that okay?
Nick Slade, 7 News.
And Sevens coverage kicks off at midnight with the return of the footy marathon. Then it's the grand final breakfast, followed by Ben Cousins breaking his silence exclusively on game day, and coverage of the grand final getting underway at 12:30, followed by 7 News.
Good evening and welcome to the MCG on this fine evening in Melbourne. At the moment, we've got some high-level clouds sailing across the city. It's all part of a change we're expecting in Melbourne late tomorrow. I'll tell you one thing, it was a warm day, wasn't it? In fact, the maximum temperature was 28.2 degrees, a little after 3 o'clock this afternoon. Now, that's 11 above average for this time of year. And at the moment, we've got some light rain falling over the southwest corner of Victoria. In fact, let's take a look at that as we move on to the latest satellite sequence. You can see that extensive cloud band stretching all the way from the southwest corner of WA. Tell you what, they've had some good rain in the southwest of Western Australia, up to 30 millimetres in the past 24 hours. For us, though, though, just some light patchy rain gradually drifting across the southern half of the state from tonight into late part of tomorrow, with a cooler southerly airstream following that front. Unfortunately, there's not much in it, so it's not looking too flash for the farmers, but it's good news for the footy tomorrow afternoon. I have more details shortly, of course. Let's have a look at the capital city forecast for tomorrow. In fact, fine conditions in Brisbane, 27 degrees. Sunshine on the way for Sydney, top of 25. Hobart, just a brief shower or two around 15. Adelaide, a hot day, a late cool change sweeping in. It should reach a high of 30 degrees. Now for Victoria, that patchy light rain spreading from the southwest corner over southern areas tonight, remaining dry and clear right across the northern plains. Now out on the bays, winds essentially light and variable tonight. They will tend northerly tomorrow morning and freshen up to around 10 to 15 knots. Then we'll have a southwesterly change around mid-afternoon at a similar strength. Now Melbourne for grand final day. Looks like it'll be fine for the game. Cloud building though, with just a little bit of rain developing after game time. It will be warm too. Have a look at that temperature. Forecast high of 26 degrees. Now for the next 7 days, Sunday, a much cooler day, well around 20 degrees with just a few clearing showers. And for Monday, becoming fine and around 17 degrees. That's the latest weather. Mitch from the MCG. Go Hawks.
Good on you, David. Thanks very much. And that's the way it is this Friday, the 26th of September. Thanks for your company. Today Tonight is next with Anna Corrin. I'll have updates throughout the evening. For now, good night.
Thanks, Peter. Tonight, the cancer breakthrough, the cyber knife that saved Patrick Swayze from a deadly illness. Plus, it's September, it's the AFL, and we have the greatest grand finals ever. 1989, was it the best grand final ever? Between the teams who face each other again tomorrow. In more than a century, the AFL truly has created history every September. And when the MCG fills with the faithful after lunchtime tomorrow, the argument will still not have been settled. Jonathan Creek went in search of answers.
There's something about them that really captures your imagination.
Football's biggest stage, a place where history is made and legends leave their mark.
It's going to be the order of the day. I thought it might have started earlier than now. But
If you look at the classics over the years, the common denominator is that 20 minutes into the last quarter, it's up for grabs.
A little bit of everything makes a great grand final.
Great goals, high marks and courageous acts. Grand finals over the years have produced it all. But which is the best of all time?
If you said to me, John, what are the two grand finals in my lifetime, I would say 1970 and 1989 are the two that jump at me most.
Seven commentator Bruce McAvaney loves reliving grand final moments and admits it's difficult to judge those played before the introduction of television. Among the best, he rates Carlton's 1970 comeback against Collingwood from 44 points down, but believes the gladiatorial contest between Hawthorn and Geelong in 1989 is the best of all time.
These two teams, and nearly 20 years ago, for lots of reasons. One, the personalities, all those Hawthorn stars and everything that happened in that match. Yates running into Brereton and all the other things. And then Ablett's extraordinary performance, 9 goals.
Tomorrow afternoon's showdown between these clubs has sports historians salivating. The moment that defines the 1989 grand final happened in the opening seconds and wrote Geelong's Mark Yates into footballing folklore.
I guess I carried out a plan on behalf of the team. We were worried that Dermott was going to hurt some of our people. We wanted to take an insurance policy out, get him before he gets us. It's something that you just do as a professional sportsman when you're asked to protect your teammates in game of football.
Former Essendon great and Seven commentator Tim Watson played in 5 grand finals, victorious in 3. 2, 1984 and 85, remembered for the brawls. Tim's best is a game he wasn't part of.
The grand final I remember most is the 1977, the first grand final, which was a drawn game between North Melbourne and Collingwood, and that was just an extraordinary end to a game. I mean, the biggest game of the year. At the end of it, people don't know whether to laugh or cry. The players are lying around. They don't know whether to be excited or they don't know whether to be dejected about the fact that they've got to drag themselves through that again in 7 days' time.
Tom Hafey's been involved in 10 grand finals as a coach and agrees with Bruce.
I'll never forget that 89 grand final. I thought Mark Yates was absolutely sensational because Dermott had been skittling players up to that match every week. And when somebody's on the ground, I thought, oh, Dermott's done it again. Hang on. It's Dermott. Oh, well, I'm a Dermott fan, but I loved it because the way that Mark Yates skittled him.
We shouldn't forget the two Sydney West Coast almost mirror image finals of 2005 and 2006. They were classics. And again, they had that ingredient that they went right down to the wire.
But sometimes it's not the match that makes a grand final memorable. There was the Batmobile pre-game entertainment, the anthem debacle.
For all the wrong reasons, those grand finals can be remembered.
Helen Delmenico with Bruce Dool. I mean, that wasn't scheduled, but I remember being at the ground when she ran out. I thought that was pretty funny.
And tomorrow?
I can't see this game sort of being a blowout. I think we've got two sides who are very evenly matched in a lot of components.
There's nothing better than the first 10 minutes of a grand final. And you hope there's nothing better than the last 10 minutes.
Go Hawks! Cannons!
Jonathan Craig reporting, and may your team win. It looks...
To sport now, and warm, sunny conditions and an all-Victorian competition ensured today's grand final parade was well attended by sports fans. Thousands turned out to see Hawthorn and Geelong players at their last official public appearance.
The fans flocked to the city hours before the parade.
Go Hawthorn! Go Geelong!
And the party got started early. The presence of two Victorian teams in the grand final boosted the crowd. Tens of thousands lined Swanston Street and down Collins, getting a vantage point wherever they could.
We've got the 18 running players.
Go Cats! Go Chappie!
The parade was soon underway and well worth the wait.
Enjoy it! Go the Hawks!
The stars of the show were Geelong and Hawthorn.
It's good to see so many Hawthorn and Geelong people here.
Yeah, it is fantastic, and the boys are just looking forward to getting into it tomorrow.
David Wojcinski put on a brave face.
It's cutthroat, and so you sort of got to expect something like this is going to happen at some stage in your career. And
it's been a 17-year wait for the Hawks.
With this group of players, it's very foreign, but it's just a wonderful feeling to be involved in the biggest week in the football calendar.
There might be 44 players in this grand final, but there's only one Lance Franklin.
The man himself was overwhelmed by the attention.
Come on, buddy!
It's an exciting time for the fans to get out here today and have a good wave to the fans and just really soak it in.
The players in the Premiership Cup made its way to the Treasury steps. The rival captains lifted the cup aloft, but tomorrow there can be only one. Ryan Van Harlen, ABC News, Melbourne.
Geelong and Hawthorn have completed their preparations with light training runs ahead of one of the most anticipated grand finals in recent memory. Gerard Whateley offers the last word on the Premiership decider.
We have the grand final we craved, and what a delicious prospect it is. From any perspective, the champion has a worthy contender to confront.
Everyone who follows football really appreciates the game and is really looking forward to seeing what I think are the two standout teams in the competition playing the grand final.
Hawthorn and Geelong met only once, and the result was in the balance inside the final 2 minutes. It's the template for the Premiership decider.
I wouldn't imagine either side will be relying on tactics to try and win this game, just relying on their fundamentals.
That holds, it will prove a handball onslaught. The Geelong approach to Clarkson's cluster was graphically illustrated in the disposal counts. 241 handballs against 179 kicks. radically removed from the season averages. The Cats carried the ball into the grid and then kicked beyond it, creating chances for their small and medium forwards. Hawthorn will take heart from winning the inside 50s that night. The Hawks achieved more entries to the 50 than Geelong typically allows, while holding the Cats well below their season average. A replica would be a significant win if the Hawthorn forwards can grasp their opportunities. With the formalities of the parade fulfilled, Geelong settled the nerves with a run on the MCG as the Top Cat tried to put the Frighteners up the opposition.
This week, a lot of people say go out and enjoy it. Well, I haven't enjoyed it. To be honest, it's been a really hard, long week, and you can't hide from that fact that there's a game before the game.
If the truth of the season holds, Geelong will go back-to-back. But if the Cats fall short of the standard they've imposed, we might just have an epic finale.